What's up, everybody? I'm not even sure if I'm really live. I never quite know these things. The old hit a button on Facebook and freeze. So good to see everybody, by the way. I'm so stoked about you guys and your progress and your community. I just think this agency life is such a blessing in so many ways because you get to help people, you get to help worthwhile businesses, you get to live anywhere in the world, you get to live on your own time, you get to work your own hours, you get to build systems, you can be paid for the value you create. That's just so damn good. By the way, just a little quick announcement. I've got, I think, 3 spots left this year in the mastermind, and when they're full, that's it. So we've got a little free trial. If you think you'd be one of those people, I'll tell you who it'll be best for. If you've already got between 5 and 20 clients and you're looking to scale it and get rid of all the meetings and the phone calls and the things that, basically stop you from scaling and doing it differently than everybody says, and also like learning to reinvest your profits into cash producing assets so you're also simultaneously building passive income, that's what we do. So give me a holler and I'll send you some details. And if you guys are below that stage, also send me a heads up because I've got a couple really cool little workshops and trainings I can send you that'll help you get to that stage. It's my little complimentary thing. And then if you're past that stage, we should talk about doing some one-on-one stuff, helping you guys scale. So that's all I got for the announcement section. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Frankie Finn proudly brings to you our weekly Q&A. All right, so we got some awesome questions here. You guys are building cool shit, so let's get started. Syed says, I have a simple question that for a new client, how do you guys suggest the budget for them for running an effective campaign? Like most of the new client asks me how much budget should they spend in starting. Mostly what I do is look at their relevant keywords and take out the CPC from Keyword Planner and with the magic of approximate calculation propose them the maximum amount required to run their campaigns. I'm curious to know how you guys tackle that. Here's the deal with budgets, Syed. I think one of the worst things you can do with a budget is tell a client a number that's not going to succeed. And so you got to be real and honest. I'll give you an example. In my niche, by the way, on Google AdWords, personal injury, 78 of the 100 most expensive keywords are personal injury lawyers. So in my niche, it's in a major US city, it'll usually cost a lawyer $150 to $200 per click. That's pretty much average. I'd say $200, probably closer to that number. That means if you have $1,000 a month budget, that lawyer is going to get 5 clicks. Like, how successful do you think he's going to be or she's going to be with 5 clicks? Not very, right? So you want to be real and honest about what it's going to take to succeed. Don't be like so short-sighted that you want to get a client that you shortchange them on the budget. And if they don't have a budget, either you should be looking for clients who do, or you should be finding ways to use the resources they have to create the budget, because they almost always have a customer list they're not using. They almost have upsells and cross-sells. There's so many things that businesses are missing. And a really good example of this, just to show you what's possible, okay? Everybody's heard the term struggling artist. In my hometown of Windsor, Ontario, Canada, there's about 200,000 people, and usually what happens is artists struggle and struggle and struggle and struggle because they're artists, and that's what artists do. 3 days a year in the middle of summer, they have a festival called Art in the Park, and Art in the Park attracts like 60,000 people. Like a quarter of the city goes to it. It's mostly just art booths and art booths. There's some food, there's some music. It's like, it's a little bit of a mini festival, but it's mostly people just go there to check out the art and walk from booth to booth. And I know because I'm very curious about business. It's just one of my quirks. So I talk to the people there and I ask them how they're doing, and they'll tell me I do more business in those 3 days than the rest of the year combined. Okay, so the thing about this is that those collaborations and those putting together events and those doing things are always on the table for businesses. They just don't fucking think to do them. So if you're walking into a business and you find out they don't have enough of a budget, create it. Otherwise, don't sell them short and tell them, oh yeah, $1,000 is enough, and then they get 5 clicks and then you're going to tell them it doesn't work. So set them up for success. Whatever that number you need to hit to win, and it'll depend on niche to niche because leads are just different costs in every niche from niche to niche. So I don't have a one-size-fits-all answer, but I'm telling you the biggest mistake you can make is having a budget too small where they literally cannot win. Morgan says, anyone try putting a whole SOP into a doc? I was keeping everything in Asana before, but this way is way more clean. Paired with a Loom should be way easier for my team. Yes, Morgan, that's actually how we do it in our I use Asana. I know there's probably better tools out there, but I just like the simplicity of it. Like, to me, the longer I do this, the more I just want my tools to be like really, really simple. And what we do is Asana is really just a tool for assigning tasks and giving deadlines and having all the reporting in one place. But when you actually put the project description, I either always do it in a Loom video that explains the step-by-step, or in a Google Doc that explains the step-by-step. So my project descriptions are like 1 sentence long. Read this doc. Click here, right? Like, that's it. So you want to think about that, like having it like really, really simple. I just use Asana as a kind of like a dispatching work kind of tool, assigning and setting responsibility and putting deadlines. And my favorite feature of it actually is that for repetitive tasks, I can go every Friday, make sure this thing is done. So that's kind of the deal with that. But yes, I agree with that general strategy. That's how we do it. So I'm obviously pretty biased on the subject. Shri says, I'm a Google Ads marketing agency owner, and we cater only to e-commerce clients. We began in October and have done over $50,000 in revenue since then. I've been getting leads mostly through my YouTube channel, which caters to this audience, 21,000 subscribers, and a few Facebook ads. We've also invested in SEO and have one of the top rankers doing it for us. However, we're still not getting enough leads per day or week. I've done cold emailing, 2,000 plus sent, and received many replies, but no closes done. Maybe because our monthly fee is $3,500 per month or more. I'm wondering else what I can do to be more proactive in lead hunting. We're also reaching out via Instagram, but is this all there is to it? And then Sheree also posted his message. I'll read you the message he's sending. Hi, first name. I came across your company while snooping around for products to buy an industry collection and noticed you guys had a decent amount of traffic coming in. Amazing work. However, I noticed some of your products weren't ranking at all in the top 5 listings with Google shopping ads. There's a lot of room for improvement with Google ads. So I made a video showing you how you guys can improve performance. Are you the right person to send the video to? If not, just let me know where to send it to and I'll send it over. Okay, Sheree, there are definitely some good things in this. So I'm going to give you a hard time a little bit, but help you to improve. I'll tell you the first thing that jumps out at me. If you're sending 2,000 messages and you're on Instagram and you have 21,000 subscribers, I promise you it is not a lead problem. Unless it's a lead problem of I'm getting the wrong people. That can happen sometimes too. Let me just grab a little drink here. So the bigger issue is it ain't converting, and I can tell you really why that's happening. Businesses in general don't want to move on things unless it generally solves a current, present pain, daily problem that they think about, okay? So for them, in their case, what you're just saying is, hey, I noticed you're not in, let me actually look at it. I think it said Google Shopping or something like that. Let's see exactly. You're not in the top 5 Google Shopping ads, okay? So that alone is not a present day pain. Like, business owners aren't asleep at night going on their pillow going, man, I'm not top 5 in Google Shopping ads. So that's part of the reason you're struggling is you need to pin your solution around a real present day problem that they're having. And I would say one of those obviously is the sales. They're thinking about the sales. They're thinking about their Shopify app. They're thinking about these. So that's the first thing is you got to connect. I know it seems obvious to you that if you get them in the shopping ads, then sales will happen. But your message actually says nothing about that. And another thing that I think will help you a whole bunch is there's a training in this group called Dramatic Demonstrations. Rather than saying it with words, saying you're not in the top 5 listings, is to search one of their products on the Google Shopping ads and then go, hey, circle it in a big thing. You aren't here. Why not? Would you be interested in finding out how to be there? And starting the conversation in their sales. The other thing is, too, SEO is notoriously a big, hairy marriage offer. And you're asking $3,500 a month, and I'm willing to bet clients got to stay long enough for it to work. So you're basically like, in most cases, if they got to stay like 6 months, then you're asking them to commit $21,000 minimum to experience any kind of benefit. So what I would suggest is to create a smaller version of your offer that would make it easier to say yes to. And it doesn't have to be your whole SEO package. Maybe it might just be like one keyword. Let me rank you, get you in the shopping listing for this one keyword, and choose it strategically so it's something easy for you to rank and something where they can get some kind of sales. They don't have to get millions, by the way. If they just make 1, 2, 3 sales from a little intro offer, then you have a long ways to go from there. And you'd be amazed how easy it is to sell $3,500 a month when your first thing worked and brought sales. So there's a big barrier to entry, and that's what's also causing. So I would say those two things. The offer is probably too big and too hairy, and it's just not about their present day problem. Like, it's not pinned around that. It's just about Google shopping ads, which I can promise you as a general rule, business owners give zero fucks about Google shopping ads. So hope that helps you like tighten that up. Nikki Two Angels. Is it better to focus on one niche when starting? Nikki Two Angels, it's better to focus on one niche all the time. Having said that, I don't ever want to tell you there's only one way you guys can be successful. There's a lot of ways you can be successful. I've seen people like rock it with very, broad generalist agencies. So I'm not like saying that can't be done. Or maybe they own the tool. Like I have a friend who owns the Google Ads agency space, so like or the YouTube ads agency space, so everybody comes to him for YouTube ads, but he's in every single niche. But here's the deal with that, okay? This is just my experience. It's hard to write a meaningful message if you don't have a niche, and it's hard to scale on the delivery side if you're doing all kinds of different custom-y shit. So what I think about is giving one problem and one solution and giving it again and again. And let me show you just kind of to illustrate the first point, okay? About the clear messaging, why a niche helps with that, okay? I want you to write in your mind an ad for a professional athlete, okay? If you're like most people, it's probably hard to do, like you don't know where to start. Now I want you to imagine, instead we're gonna write an ad for a professional golfer, okay? Now I want you to take a little further. I want you to imagine you're writing an ad for a professional golfer who's left-handed. Now I want you to write an ad more specifically for a professional golfer who's left-handed and has a slice. Okay? That's a way easier ad to write because you can know who you're talking to, right? Like, dear left-handed golfer with a slice. We're not like righties, and a slice is one of the things that'll ruin your golf game. Like, you already know where to start that ad. When you start with a very broad, hey, write an ad to an athlete, you almost can't say anything meaningful. So niching down allows you to say something meaningful to the damn business in the first place. And every niche, by the way, has their own terms. Like if we sit around the table and we talk about CTR and click-through rates, we know what each other mean, but I'll promise most of our family members have no idea what we mean. So like that's another thing that helps is when you use the niches lingo. I mean, just the word, I would say the word client, but some people would use the word customer and other people would use the word patient, right? Like it's different in niches like that. So even just that little detail alone will make your messaging more meaningful. The other thing is when you get into delivering shit, I found that when I did custom work for people, I would have 5 to 10 clients and I would be like really, really full and busy and maxed out. And the thing about it was, it wasn't easy to like hire people because when you're a generalist and you have like 5-10 clients, usually you're not getting paid huge amounts of money, so you don't have like giant margins to pay people. And then you get in situations where it literally would take you fucking longer just to tell somebody what to do than to do it yourself. Now compare that to I have 50 clients and I'm doing every single client I'm doing the same thing for. How much easier does that scale, right? Like I can instruct somebody once and then say do that again and again and again and again, and I can make a process, I can make a procedure, I can put people in. So that's the real reason why you want to do a niche, because you can write meaningful message and you can scale with a whole bunch more ease. Long answer, I know, short question, but I think that'll help you guys too. I'm not sure if this is Dustin or Dustine. Hey guys, what are your best tips on how to get clients consistently monthly? I get my clients through referrals, and I don't think that is a sustainable way on doing so. I want to start reaching out, but don't know where to find people to reach out to. I'm offering Facebook, TikTok ads, and social media management for service business in the United States, roofing, pressure washing, etc. The problem is I'm not from the US, so I don't have a network other than that are already my clients. All right, Dustin, not really sure how to say that correctly. I think it's Dustin. Anyways, here's the deal with that, okay? You want to get clients in the door consistently. Here's the thing you have to do is you have to stop doing the things that prevent people from getting clients consistently in the first place, okay? The first thing is we just talked about in the last question. If you don't have like a real narrow specific niche, then it's hard in your mind to even, where would I find business owners? There's so many of them, right? That's very different than like, where do I find lawyers who are advertising on TV, right? Like that's a much smaller, more targeted list, and I can ask, I can do research, I can see who's spending money. Like the more targeted it is, the easier you'll be able to find them. Now, here's the deal with this, okay? When you ask, like, I don't know where to reach out to, that tells me you actually just don't have a specific enough niche, because I'll tell you, the people you mentioned, the roofers, the pressure washers, the painters, they all self-assemble in groups, both in real life and online. Your only job is to figure out where those groups are already assembling, and if you understand that, there's always those audience anywhere. So, like just for me, to give you an example, like when I started in the lawyer space, I knew 0 lawyers. I'm a Canadian, by the way, so I'm not from America. So like I'm a foreigner too. I'm dealing with the same kind of challenges you are. I knew exactly 0 lawyers at the start of this. But here's the deal. Lawyers assemble in groups. They go to conferences. That's a group. They go to LinkedIn groups. That's a group. They follow certain influencers. That's a group. They buy certain software and tools. That's a group, right? So like you got to figure out where those groups are and then go use that to reverse engineer where to find them. So it's not an issue of knowing where to find them. It's an issue of who are you even trying to get in front of in the first place? Because if you make that clear, so that's the first reason, is people don't have a clear idea who they're trying to get in front of. You get that clear. Now the second thing that keeps people from getting consistent clients is they do a bunch of fucking things. This should be 2 here, by the way. And I guess it's like a gun to the head because it really is kind of true. They do a bunch of things that are kind of wasted effort things, okay? So I'll make it really, really simple. The only thing that will make you get consistent clients is getting in front of people in your potential niche and making them an offer. And so what that excludes is a lot of things that people think are important. I need to update my website, need to have my logo done, I need to have a blog, I need to SEO, I need to be on social media everywhere. No, you fucking do not, especially not if you're in the beginning stages and trying to get clients consistently. The deal with it is the only thing that can potentially bring you a client is talking to potential clients, nothing else. So everything that is not being in front of them or not putting something directly in front of them is all like literally wasted effort. And I know people think, oh, you got to have a website. I'll hate to spoil the party, but I have a good friend. Her name's Kat Howell. Some of you guys will know her. She runs like a really, really big Facebook ad agency. They built their agency up to $300,000 a month and then built their website, right? So they hit $300,000 a month before they built their website. So I want you to understand how unimportant. A website's really important, by the way, if you got 1,000 visitors a month and people are seeing it, because then you're in front of clients. But if you got 3 visitors and 2 of them are your mom and your aunt, then you can update your website a million times. So I'll tell you, the only thing that matters is getting in front of potential clients and making offers. Now, the third thing that keeps people from getting clients consistently is they have an offer that's really hard to say yes to, man. It's such an important leverage point. Like getting in front of the right people and having an offer that's meaningful. And the biggest mistake, I mean, there's a couple of mistakes, but the biggest mistake I see people make with their offers, not specific enough, meaning it's just too broad. Like, hey, you mentioned in your case, like, I do TikTok ads. That's probably new and exciting now, but give that 5 years, that will not be nearly specific enough. And so you want to think about something specific that your type of client is trying to build. Like, for example, we just had somebody in one of our workshops, they're working with real estate agents, and we found as we started digging that most real estate agents just hate how their phone blows up 24 hours a day. And so we said, why don't we bring them investor kind of clients? Because investor clients are much more low maintenance. They buy again and again. They don't bug them on weekends. They just want to know the numbers, those kind of things. When you have that kind of offer, like, hey, I'll bring your first investor client, much, much easier to sell. It opens doors because we know what they're trying to build. They happen to use Google ads to deliver that, but the delivery is irrelevant because what the person is trying to get done is to bring in investor clients in the door. So you want to think about having an offer that's meaningful. And then the other thing that keeps people from getting clients consistently is their delivery. So what ends up happening with a lot of agencies is they get like 5-10 clients, and then all of a sudden you're swamped in delivery, and you stop prospecting and you stop getting in front of people. And what happens to your sales? They go to zero. So it's very, very important leverage point to get your delivery side in order. And that's why we say choose a niche and have SOPs and have a team that manages that for you. So you don't have to take your foot off of the gas every time you get new clients. Because I see all these agencies where sign clients, lose a bunch, sign clients, lose a bunch, and their income just forever roller coasters, and they're doing all this crazy delivery, which you don't need to do. Okay, we got a loud ass truck driving by here right now. Yusuf, I might just wait just 1 second while this truck drives by. I just moved houses and it's extra loud on my street here. My old house was like quiet, middle of the nowhere. Big old purple Mexican truck driving by. Okay, Yusuf says, hey guys, thanks for creating this Facebook group. You're welcome. Hoping it will help me get my SEO business off the ground. I've been a freelance writer for just under 2 years and have decided recently to branch into offering SEO services. I've reached top-rated status on Upwork for consistent, high-quality work and would like to start closing regular clients around the $1,000 to £5,000 per month mark. Currently, what I'm doing on Upwork and replying to people looking for SEO services. If they provide a link to their site, I do a mini audit, make some recommendations, and then try to book in a call. In the past 2 weeks, I've managed to have a few conversations with potential clients, but no closes yet. What do you think would be the best investment of my time to begin landing quality clients long term? Yusuf, I got a couple of things to say. I don't know necessarily, there's probably like 3 or 4 things that'll make that easier. As mentioned, like pick a niche. And I'll tell you the easiest, by the way, if you're looking for long-term clients, the easiest place you're going to find them is not in what people think it is, which is to prospect and find new people. It sounds like you've helped a lot of people on Upwork with content. You should just contact those people and say, hey, by the way, we have this relationship doing content. I hope you're happy with it. The reason we create so much content is because we're doing this SEO work. And if you'd be interested, I would, like to help you in the following ways. I could, come up with a little video that will explain how our SEO could benefit your sales and all those kind of things, right? Those people are going to be the easiest people to reach. They're going to be the most likely to say yes. You can probably get started right away. And if you have 10 of those, then probably 1 or 2 of them would hire you for SEO right now, today, if you just frickin' ask. So start with what you got. Now, having said that, long term, same as what I just said in the last question, you got to pick a niche, you got to have a meaningful offer. And I suggest, because SEO is such a big, hairy, risky offer, like de-risk it. Like the easiest SEO thing, by the way, is to get your foot in the door is like, let's just start with 1 keyword in 1 month. And then you pick one little low-hanging fruit, one little non-competitive keyword that'll bring them a sale or 2 that you can track directly to you and say, hey, we did this 1 month with 1 keyword and got you a sale. What if we did this for 12 months and I did it for 100 keywords? Just imagine what could happen. So just a small version of that. And also it gives you a chance to feel out the client, whether they're a pain in the ass, whether they get back to you, whether they get you the things that you need, that kind of thing. Jerry says, Loom selling. Do you re-highlight the symptoms that you've already highlighted in your direct mail letter again in the Loom video, or go straight to the solution in the demonstration? Do you include past results to prove your offer actually works? Jerry, this is a really good question. Loom selling, by the way, I don't want you guys to get hung up because, for those of you guys who don't know, every other agency in the world, as best I can tell, they get people on a sales call, they talk for like 90 minutes, either they try and close them on the call, or they send them a proposal, or they send them like a pitch deck, and there's like steps. Sometimes they do a second call, and that's their like recruitment process. We don't do sales calls at all in our agency. I send people a 5-minute Loom video, sometimes it's like 6 minutes, that has all the details, and then they may have a question or 2, but it includes the video includes the price, all the details, all those things. But the magic is not the fact that it's on Loom. It is the psychological principles that are doing and making our offer really powerful and clear and easy to say yes to. We've also sold them through Google Docs, and if I did the same thing in chat or in person, it still works. So I don't want you guys to think the magic is the Loom video. That's just my little asterisk before I answer your question here, Jerry. So yes, we re-highlight the symptoms that our clients are experiencing, and I'll tell you why. This is hard for us to wrap our head around sometimes, and when you really understand this, it'll actually create a big breakthrough in your sales. Clients are not buying their way into your solution. They are buying their way out of their existing problem. Let me say that again, because it's really like it's a writer down. They aren't buying your solution. They're buying their way out of their own problem. So the more you can point to with accuracy their problem. So I'll give you a real life example so you can wrap your head around this, okay? Initially, when I first started working with lawyers, like 2016 or so, we did, a whole bunch of strategy sessions and things like that. And I basically, I must have did 50 sales calls, had exactly 0 sales to show for it. I call that phase the question your sanity. You start thinking, should I just get a real job? Should I quit? Do I not know what I'm doing? Have I lost my mojo? All those things start going through your head. And while I was doing that, one of the things I found is that lawyers would say the same things over and over. I was hung up on trying to sell my Facebook ad solution. But I noticed that they said things like, well, I need more clients. And then I would say, why? And they would say, well, I have some really good months and some really bad months. And so I want to especially fix the bad months. And I go, well, what do you mean you have bad months? And they'd say, well, I have referral partners, and some months my referral partners send me $40,000, $50,000 worth of business, and it's great. But some months they don't send me anybody, and I don't even know if I can pay the electricity, right? So it's hard for me from month to month to even know what to do, because it's just like, I don't know whether I'm going to have 50,000 this month or zero. And so I feel like I have no control over my own business, okay? So that is, when I present a solution to the lawyer, that is what they are buying their way out of. They are not buying my SEO package or my Facebook ads package or my AdWords. They're buying their way out of, it's so damn inconsistent writing these referral partners. And by the way, a lot of professional services experience that same kind of basic challenge. So you may be able to, in your niche, steal that kind of word for word. But here's the deal with that, right? The more you can say, hey, we created this program because a lot of lawyers told us they have inconsistent months because they're overly dependent on referral partners, and so they have this income roller coaster. And the solution is to have another lead source that's consistent, that brings you people through the internet or online or whatever. You'll sell so much more if you include that first part where you can point to the exact problem, symptom, challenge they're experiencing currently, because that is half the deal right there. So yes, you want to include the symptoms. Now, secondly, do you include past results to prove your offer actually works? Yes. If you have a case study, use it, flaunt them. You can never have too much proof if you got it. Having said that, the way we do it does not require massive amounts of proof. Interestingly enough, because if you make the offer small enough and risk-free enough and easy to say yes to, it doesn't necessarily require like a lot of arm twisting and convincing. So for example, in the previous example, the person mentioned they do SEO. If my SEO offer, okay, is pay me for 12 months, and hopefully at the end of those 12 months, I'll rank you, and my service is $3,500 a month, and you never heard of me before, that's literally 40 grand for the year. That's a $40,000 risk plus 12 months. Plus, you may even make my rankings worse. That's a big commitment to make with a stranger, okay? So you're going to have a really hard time selling that if you don't have like massive amounts of proof, okay? Now, having said that, if you walk up and say, hey, I was just searching this one keyword, and you're like 17, and I bet you in 30 days I could get you to number one and you could get a few sales for me. Would you be interested on doing a deal on that one keyword? I charge just $299 for one keyword, and I'd like to show this as a little intro. We can get you in 30 days, and if I don't get you there in 30 days, I'll give you your $299 back. Would you be interested in trying something like that? That's a 30-day thing. That's a small thing. That's one keyword. That doesn't require all the cajoling and all the proposals and all that I need to think about it. So we want to think about like creating like a smaller first date version of that. And I noticed this when I first sold SEO, that like how much the offer made a difference is, I've mentioned the story before, but when I would sell SEO to plastic surgeons, always I'd send proposals, and it would all like take me all this custom time to write it, and I'd have to contact people and be like, did you watch my proposal yet? And nobody ever read my damn proposal. One day a plastic surgeon came to us and said, hey, my most expensive, most valuable patients are these mommy makeovers. Do you think you could build me a website for mommy makeovers? And I said, yeah. And he said, do you think you could rank it for like mommy makeover keywords? And I said, yeah. And do you think like the phone would ring with mommy makeover people? And I said, well, if we build a site optimized for that and we rank for that, of course the phone will ring for it. Do you think all of that is doable? I said, yeah, let's build it. And we tried. And I forget what we charged them. I don't know. It was like a couple of $1,000s plus like an ongoing SEO fee. And it worked, and they loved it. And I'll tell you, I sold more of those ongoing, and I wish I had the intelligence then to realize it was a better offer, because they didn't care about just getting SEO and just getting random people through the door. They wanted mommy makeovers. And so the minute I could say I had a package to bring you mommy makeover thing, it's easier. So the offer is the key that makes that thing go. And one of my mentors described this really simply. He said, if you can't sell your offer in 1 to 3 sentences, then adding VSLs and webinars and Loom videos and email follow-ups ain't going to change that. So you got to have an airtight, easy to sell kind of offer that you can get to the point for somebody in 1 to 3 sentences. So having said that, if you don't have past results to show people, just make a miniaturized low-risk version. It's the equivalent of like if you see like a beautiful woman and you're interested in having a relationship with her of whatever kind. You know, I know you guys are perverts, but I'll let you fill in the details there. If you walk up to her and say, like the SEO package, hey, I just met you, but let's get together for 12 months. It'll cost you $3,500 a month. We're going to go on a whole bunch of dates. Everything's going to be great. We're going to love each other. It's going to be awesome. It's just too big of a risk for them to jump into it. But if you always go to the same person, have a nice conversation and say, hey, I really like you. How do you feel about going for 20 minutes and have a coffee? There's this beautiful place that makes a really great cherry pie. They have beautiful music playing in the background. It's got a beautiful view in the water. I would love to just show you that, and if you like it, maybe we can hang out a little more. If you don't, that's cool too. Like the 20-minute date is going to get a whole lot more yeses. So think about that methodology when you're bringing your SEO or whatever it is to the world, Jerry. And I know we've kind of talked about this personally, but I want to kind of elaborate just like on that, just for the benefit of everybody else as well. Ryan says, I need help. My Facebook ads have been working well for 2 months, 3 interests, and 2 visitor lookalike audiences. This week I increased my daily budget by 50%, and all of a sudden I stopped getting sales. No data in Ads Manager, no action. I didn't change anything else, not sure what to do. Any help would be appreciated. Okay, Ryan, the question implies a lot of the answer, which is like I increased my budget, and therefore that's the issue. But I'm going to tell you from my experience that's actually usually not the issue. It's not usually that you increase your budget. And the issue is really, really simple, is that if you're running Facebook ads, your offers will eventually reach a cliff and fall over. And so at some point you have to cycle offers. I found that usually, by the way, is you don't necessarily have to have like millions and millions of offers, but like in the lawyer space, especially in the beginning, like when our audience size was like maybe 80,000 we were targeting on Facebook, I just burned people out really fast. Like you can't run with the same offer forever to 80,000 people. And so we would run offer 1, and then when that would flame out, we would run offer 2, and then when that would flame out, we would run offer 3. And when that would flame out, I would go back to offer 1 and do the whole cycle again, and it would feel new. So all offers will die 100% of the time, and there's various reasons. The biggest reason is because people are going to copy you, and then your offer won't become so meaningful. But also because, like, once everybody who's interested in that has seen it, it can only go so far. So go back to the drawing board with your creatives. I know there's a tendency to think, well, I raised my budget 50%, so it's an issue of that. But more than likely, it's not an issue of like you raised your budget. It's an issue of you reached saturation point faster because you raised your budget. All right, cool. We got a little bonus question. Cole says here, hey, Frankie, this is great and super helpful. I'm trying to reach loan officers and offering to bring them 10 local plus realtors for referral partnerships without cold calls or coffee meetings, but I feel like it's falling flat. So first of all, Cole, the first thing that jumps out at me in that is if loan officers really like real estate agents because they're the kind of people who are going to like bring them deals again and again and again, and those referral partnerships are like really valuable and a good deal, like that sounds a really cool offer. Believe it or not, I actually think you would make your promise more powerful. Instead of like, I'm going to bring you 10 giant referral partners, is actually having an intro of like, I'll bring you 1. And whatever the shortest amount of time you can do that is, if like 48 hours, a week, a month, 90 days, whatever it is you need to do that. But bringing them 1 as like your little intro. And the interesting thing is, I saw this like in Jeff Miller's group, right? So there's a guy selling Facebook ads or videos for Facebook ads, like the creative, like he'll make you the video for people who need like ongoing videos and stuff. And he charges $50 for the video and the thumbnail. Now, what do you think somebody's going to buy if they're happy with that $50 video? More videos, right? Like it's the most obvious next level thing is like, I bought 1 video, let's buy more videos, right? So you can sneakily like sell a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month as a $50 intro in this case. And I'm not saying you have to have like a $50 intro, but just as an example, it's very easy to get people to say yes to a little $50 intro that can easily lead into a $5,000 a month ongoing video package kind of deal. So I suspect part of it, because this is the deal, right, Cole? Like, and I'm not saying I necessarily know your market like super well, but I do know that like big numbers, like I'm going to get you so much business and flood you. Marketers just have ruined that and probably made it sound like bullshitty and scammy to you. Like we have a guy in our mastermind who's working with chiropractors, and he does database reactivation as his door opener. So a chiropractor has 1,000 patients they've treated over the last 5 years. Before he goes and runs ads and tries to bring new people, he sends emails to people who've already been there and invites them to come back in. Now, it's pretty normal when he does that to get like 20, 30, 40 people on the first email because they're warm leads, right? Like they're people who've already done business. Oh, that's right, I've been meaning to go to my chiropractor. So he created an intro offer that says, I'll get you 20 to 30 booked appointments. And it's very much a fact, right? It's like a fact, like he really does that. And immediately the chiropractors went, bullshit, right? Even though it's really, really true. And so one of the things we did is we just shrunk that. And I said, the most believable number you're going to give them is I'll bring you one in like the next 24 or 48 hours. That's actually a more believable, more powerful intro offer than like I'll get you gazillions of people. Like, because if you think about SEO, like it's a promise that has really burned a lot of the market. SEO is you're going to make millions once you're number one in Google. You're going to have so much money. You're going to crush so many clients, and you're going to be doing so awesome. So keep paying me for a long, long time, and then you'll see at the end of it you'll get rich. And it's like a donkey chasing a carrot. Like it never really gets there for a lot of these people. So the more you can shrink the timeline as well, like that's the actual thing that makes a first date, is that it has like a clear defined beginning and end. We're going to sit down for coffee. We're going to get together for 20 minutes, and at the end of it you get to go, right? So in your case, I would think about what's the shortest amount of time you could bring them one, and that would actually probably be a better variation of the same promise. The other thing is this may be a little bit of a helpful story in your niche, is that there's going to be opportunities to improve your offer with speed. So I'll give you an example with this. One of my friends works a lot with real estate lawyers, and one of the things real estate lawyers is they get their business from the same people. They get it from real estate agents and mortgage brokers, like it's the same kind of deal, loan officers, those kind of people. And one of the things they said that their biggest problem was that real estate closing companies and lawyers take forever with the check. So like you imagine somebody who's getting a commission and they're living and dying on those commissions, and they close a deal and then the lawyer takes 30, 40, 50, 60 days just to pay them. So he created an offer, and his offer was really, really simple, which is I'll get you your check in hand within 48 hours. Even on weekends, I will FedEx it to you. And didn't have to like, I'm cheaper than everyone else. And he gets like inundated with referrals from mortgage brokers and things like that. So the way to find out what that is to reach out to a couple of these people and say, hey, I would like to bring you some realtors. What do you hate about working with realtors? And you can make that a caveat of your offer, because almost always there'll be like a speed quality element to improve in that. Yeah, even if it's 90-day cycle is not necessarily a problem in and of itself, because part of the deal is if you can get them the meeting sooner, even if that sales cycle and that relationship takes longer, you can still promise like I'll get you face-to-face in front of a real estate agent who may in 90 or 180 days, bring you business. Because we've got a few people that are running these kind of offers, Cole, and I think they're really, really smart, because what everybody else is doing is trying to help them bring leads. And there's nothing wrong with bringing leads, but it's actually far more efficient what you're doing, which is to bring them lead sources, right? Like, because one really good real estate agent who has a lot of business can supply them with work for the next 10 years, right? Like that adds up really, really fast. You don't need a lot of people like that. In fact, most like lawyers in my niche build entire businesses around 3 referral partners on average, 3. And you can do it with less if they're bigger. So in your case, them having like just a couple of real power partners, so there is some real magic and power in that offer, is like, hey, I'm not just bringing you a lead, I'm bringing you the people who bring you leads. But the biggest objection you'll get in an offer is what I call plan objections. And it's hard when an offer is not working to not make it personal, to be like, I'm shit, I don't know what I'm doing, maybe nobody wants it. Like that's how I've definitely done that in the past. But usually it's just like one little objection to your plan. And I'll give you a real life example so you can wrap your head around it. Is friend of mine, he helps people buy the land really, really cheap, 10 cents on the dollar kind of thing. And they were running a workshop teaching people how they get their land. And people weren't buying it, even though it's a great offer. Like, who the hell wouldn't want to buy land 10 cents on the dollar, right? Like, you almost make your money back in the first 5 minutes. Like, they're literally flipping the land for 10 times the value. But what ended up happening is people in their mind thought bullshit, and they said, well, the plan objection was they said, well, I can open up my newspaper, or I can open up Craigslist, or I can open up a real estate site, and I don't see land for sale for 10 cents on the dollar. And so that's called a plan objection. And what they figured out was, oh, we have to show them we market directly to get these deals because they're not listed on any sort of like common real estate site. So basically, in your case, there's almost assuredly one little plan objection, and if you can just ask them, like, hey, the best way is to, like, tell me why you said no, like make it okay for them to be truthful with you, and you'll find out what that plan objection is. But I suspect, just looking at it, the promise sounds too big, and actually might be a form of, I don't want to meet with 10 real estate agents, I'll be too busy just meeting with real estate agents, I won't have to run my business. But if you say, like, I'll bring you one good quality partner in the next 48 hours to have a meeting with you, or whatever, or week, or 2 weeks, or month, or whatever it is, whatever the intro amount of time, I suspect that'll make that probably a lot stronger. I have to do a little bit of research on your market, but I think that would really kind of tighten the thing up. That looks like all the questions we got this week. I just a little shout out, like I said, we got about 3 spots for the mastermind, and just like I practice what we preach, those spots will be gone in the next little bit. They'll be most useful to you, by the way, if you guys are between 5 and 20-ish clients and you're looking to get rid of all the meetings, the phone calls, and putting some scale in place, and putting some being able to sell it without videos, and creating like long-lasting profits in your family in the term of buying assets and investing. That's what our shtick is. If that's you guys, make sure to reach out. If you're below that level, reach out to me anyway. Send me a PM, because I've got some cool training materials to send you guys to help you get there. Some workshops we've done. I'd be happy to send those to you. I don't charge you for them, so don't worry about that. If you guys, I want to see you guys get to that level, and then of course, maybe we can potentially do some business down in the future. And if you're past the 20 client level and you're looking to scale, reach out to a brother, because we do pretty awesome consulting when you guys start getting the $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a month agencies, getting like kind of what Cole's talking about, the power partners. So that's all I got for you guys this week. Much love to you guys. Thanks for the awesome questions. I love seeing you guys progress, get better, making stuff happen. May the force be with you. This was a little bit of a longer one, but I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did.